Welcome everyone to Living with the Times. This is Parsha Vayishlach, and in this Parsha we have the archetypal battle that Yaakov fights. The Torah says with a man. Rashi says it's with the angel of Esav. All of this is in preparation that Yaakov knows that the next day he's going to meet Esav. The last time he saw Esav, Esav wanted to kill him. And he was very serious about it. And now, after 20 years, Yaakov has to face Esav again. And as we explained in a previous Living with the Times, Rashi tells us that Yaakov sent gifts in order to make peace with Esav. He prayed and he prepared for war. And here he didn't just prepare for war. He, according to Rashi, he is struggling with the archetypal angel of Esav. And he needs to win this war. It's a matter of life and death. Because when he meets Esav the next day, the results will depend totally on his defeating the angel. And the angel is not able to defeat him and injures him in his hip, his thigh, and says, "Let me go." And Yaakov says, "I will not let you go until you bless me." And the angel says, "What is your name?" He says, "Yaakov." He says, "No longer will your name be Yaakov, but your name will be Yisrael." And then the Torah explains what this word means. This, of course, is the first time that the word Yisrael is mentioned in the Torah. Yaakov is getting not just a new name, a new identity. And it says, Ki sarita im Elokim v'anashim v'tuchal, that you contended, you struggled with God and man, and you prevailed. This is the meaning of Yisrael. And we can understand so much from Jewish history that our fate, our destiny, is to struggle. And we have struggled against anti-Semitism, against oppression, pogroms, expulsions, inquisitions, Holocaust. And we're still here to tell the story. All of the empires that tried to enslave us, they are gone. And we are still here. We're told by tradition that when did this struggle occur between Yaakov and the angel of Esav? We're told it was Yom Kippur night. And the next day was Yom Kippur when Esav and Yaakov meet. And we're told, well, who is the archangel of Esav? So we're told it is Satan, the Satan. Now the Satan in Jewish tradition is an angel, and he does God's bidding. He is not an independent force. And so he is doing his job by fighting with Yaakov. And in fact, there's an incredible gematria that if you take the numerical value of the name Yaakov and you add the numerical value of Satan, it equals exactly Yisrael. In other words, by Yaakov fighting with the Satan, He earned, he merited, he rose to the level where he could now be called Yisrael. And so here we see something on a personal level also. We all have our struggles. We all have our obstacles, our trials, our tribulations. But when we pass the test, when we contend and are successful, then we merit a new level of consciousness. And that's what Yaakov achieved that night. He became Yisrael. So there's another beautiful numerical value is a solar year has 365 days. And we're told that the name Satan, if you put like the Satan, Ha-Satan, equals 364. So it's asked, well, if there are 365 days in the year, so we see that Satan is active, is present, is testing us. But there's one day missing. What day is missing that the Satan does not have control or power? We're told Yom Kippur. And we see this, that battle happened on Yom Kippur. And so here we see that Yaakov receives atonement because he's bothered for 20 years. Did I do right by buying the birthright from Esau, even though Esau was more than willing to give it up? And if Yaakov had the birthright, then he deserved the blessing from Yitzhak. Nonetheless, at Rivka's, his mother's urging, he was a bit cunning with his father. So if you look very, very carefully at the text, he never outright lied to his father, but he did use, we'll call it cunning means. But as soon as Yitzhak realized that he had blessed Yaakov and not Esau, he also realized that this is obviously what God wanted. And the next day, he blessed him with the blessing of Avram. And he conferred upon him that he was the third of the patriarchs. So that night, when he's struggling with his own past, his own relationship with Esau, he's struggling with the archangel of Esau, and in a sense, he's contending with God that I'm ready to do what I have to do in this world. And his struggle is to feel that God's divine providence led him through all of this to struggle in order to become Yisrael. And so this idea, this teaching is very important for us now in what we're going through with the current war in Israel. Because it's a very, very traumatic time. It's a very trying time. There's a lot of angst and darkness, but it's also an opportunity that finally the Jewish people have awoken to I'll call it the sad reality that we have enemies that are bent on our destruction. But it's better to realize the reality and act accordingly than, in a sense, fall asleep or be caught in the illusion that this wasn't the case. Who wants to be confronted by an enemy that wants only your destruction. It's a very hard reality. But here we see, if you add the name Yaakov and Satan, it equals Yisrael. And so, despite it all, we have to believe and we have to act accordingly that good will come out of this. Even though there's been a lot of pain and a very high price to pay, but through the current struggle to establish once and for all our right to Eretz Yisrael, and that we are not going to be defeated, and we are not going to fold, that something new and exciting is going to come from this. It's not clear what it is, but it's in the air that something new and positive will come from this. So we have to hold on to that idea, and as the Baal Shem Tov said, think good and it will be good. And so right now, despite the trials and tribulations that we're going through, let us all think good and it will be good.